What's going on, everybody? Welcome on into Zero Hour. How are you all doing this evening? I'm doing pretty good. I'm Extra Zero. I'm your host, taking you through all of the latest Transformers news in about an hour or so. Yeah, I do this every week. Now, last week I did a late show. I had some stuff come up on Tuesday, and we did that show later on the week with my good friend, Mr. Deluxe Baldwin. Very good dude, longtime friend. We had a lot of fun. Love having Deluxe over here. So I'm hoping to get some more people on in the future, including some returns for Deluxe. I do want to give him a quick plug. Now, he had a really good interview over on his channel the other day with a creator that I'm quite fond of. So if you head on over to Deluxe's channel, and I always put his link in the show, in the shows that he's on. But he did a pretty long, around 30, with Captain Kyle from Toy Spotlight. So if you haven't already, go check that interview out. Kyle's a good dude. He does really good content. I had the pleasure of meeting him at TFCon Baltimore this past year, and I just really love his Transformers videos. They're very brief but to the point reviews. They're a lot of fun, and just really enjoyed hearing him and Deluxe get to sit down and chat and talk about the history of his channel, and just to get to know Captain Kyle a bit better. So yeah, highly recommend heading over to his channel when you're bored, when you're done watching this here, or if you're watching me on the replay, go bookmark that. Subscribe to Deluxe. But anyway, how are you all doing? I am, as I mentioned, doing good. It's been a long week. My wife's getting over a little bit of a stomach bug, and I've been doing some cooking all day. We have a family member who's sick, so we're helping out and getting some food together for them. So that's one thing they don't have to worry about. But my wife's doing okay, so she's on the mend, so that is good. And yeah, just kind of a busy week. I've been doing a lot of editing. If you happen to check my link tree, you see that I'm an editor for my good pal Mr. Mazza, and we're putting together a pretty fun video over on his channel, more Call of Duty stuff. So I can't wait for that to get announced, and I'll be working on some content here. I know I've been dragging my feet on a lot of that, but have been busy with work and external things, so hoping to turn that around real soon. Before we get into the show, if you haven't already, smash that like button because it helps me out in the algorithm. And if you're not already a subscriber, hopefully today is the day I earn your subscription. I'm at over 260 subs. I'd like to get to 500 by the end of the year. And if we hit that 500, I'll be doing a big giveaway on the channel. So haven't decided what I'll be giving away, but it'll be a nice little gift that will not disappoint. So stay tuned for that. Be a friend, tell a friend that I'm out here talking Transformers, talking news, and doing discussions. So really appreciate that. Really appreciate everybody who pops into the show. We'll be shouting out chat in just a little bit. I already see some folks popping off in there. It's good to see you all. Before we shout out chat, let's get into my figure of the week. And this week's figure of the week is, I did not time this right. If you saw the news about Lucasfilm today, this is unrelated. I was originally going to make this my figure of the week, and then I saw the news that Kathleen Kennedy is stepping down. There's some people love her, some people dislike her, and some people are in between. Frankly, I don't really care to talk about the current state of Star Wars. We'll just say I was a big fan, and now not so much. If you still love Star Wars, that's great. I did love the first couple seasons of The Mandalorian, and I was a bit hesitant to get this early on. This is the Mandalorian N1 Starfighter, probably the most creative name of all of the crossovers. As I mentioned, I picked this up over on Walmart's website. You can still get this there. Everywhere else, they're selling them for like leader class prices, but for whatever reason, on the Walmart site, he is a deluxe price. He's like $26 shipped, and I actually really like this figure. Now, as I mentioned, I've kind of fallen off Star Wars and Mandalorian, but this is an original mold. This is not a retool, and it's a little parts formery because the tail of the N1 Starfighter, you just pluck all of that off. I don't normally just transform stuff on here, but this is a really easy and unique transformation. And you get an interesting robot mode. When I first saw this, I wasn't quite interested, mostly because of the price. I mean, they still have the Star Wars tax and all, as people famously call it. But a few friends, mainly Ghost Prime and God, there were a couple other people I watched were just kind of raving about this figure. That toy guy being among them. It's funny because it actually caused him to go and pick up some of the older Star Wars Transformers. Go watch his one on the Anakin one, because I did not realize that there was the plastic that they used, while not gold, has the same symptoms as gold plastic syndrome. So that's a fun watch over on that toy guy's channel. But he kind of sold me on this, and between Ghost Prime and that toy guy, I was like, okay, I'll check this out. If it's the price of a deluxe, what do I have to lose? And with being Walmart, if I absolutely hated it, I could have returned it. But I did not. I actually quite enjoyed this figure. The only challenging part is when you get this chest piece flipped out, you kind of need a tool. I don't have a spudger, so I will just not do that for the sake of brevity here. And you get a rather interesting looking robot here. It is kind of similar to the old Star Wars Transformers, which I never picked up, but I think this one does it a bit better. I think this kind of has more of the modern collaborative aesthetics. I think it works a bit better. And if I could get his chest tabbed in all the way, that would be great. But again, I don't have let me see. New Age Romulus's. I don't want to break his beam saber, but here you go. You get a quite interesting looking robot. I love the fact that he actually has a holstered weapon. He has a little pistol on his hip. He comes with 6 blast effects, and the stand actually comes apart to form a shield. I kind of like to think of the inner part of this as a dark saber. I mean, you can kind of work as one, honestly. And you get a cape of all things. So you get his, like, they figured out how to make his cape out of the stand. So again, pretty parts formery, but it's a fun figure. I highly recommend this. I mean, again, like the tail becomes like the pram for Grogu, the child, and then also a gun of sorts. I mean, it's not the most elegant thing, but hey, for a deluxe price for the same cost as this, I'm happy with it. If I had paid the leader price point, I would not be, but I wouldn't have paid the leader price point because, well, I just, as I mentioned, I've kind of fallen out of Star Wars, but a neat little piece. Again, it's got nothing on Agent Knight, a figure that I still mess with. I mean, if you had to pick one of the crossovers, the Agent Knight all the way, this thing is just one of the best mainline figures I've bought in. That's this is why this ranked so high on my top figures of 2024. But this guy, again, it's a neat figure. It's worth a look. If you still like Star Wars, I think you'll get a bit more out of it. If you like the Mandalorian, or you just want something unique and different, I do like the Starship mode, and it is a really fun and unique transformation, I'll say. So again, if again, not sponsored by Walmart or anything. If I was sponsored by Walmart, I'd be pretty well off. But if you're interested in getting him, he's still up on the website. I checked right before I went live, and you can still get him for $27 shipped. So, that one's my figure of the week this week. Something a little bit off, a little bit different, but certainly fun. Anyway, let's shout out chat real quick, and we'll get into the news, because we got not the most to talk about, but quite a lot of stuff to cover. So kicking it off, we got my boy Princeton Phalanx in here saying hello. Always good to see you. Got Mario Roca saying hello, Extra Zero. Good to see you. We got Effortlessly Random, who's off tonight. Hope you're having a good evening, my friend, and he is here on time. Wookie Be Bad saying hello. What am I buying tonight? Well, maybe you're gonna pick up that N1 Starfighter. I don't know. Fun figure nonetheless. We have Paul Morales in here saying hello, everybody. Good to see you, Paul. And Wookie saying, I don't think her leaving will help. I think Star Wars fatigue is a real problem. I think they just kind of need to look back to like that gap between the 80s and late 90s and just give it a good 10 to 15 year rest. I think people need to want Star Wars back. I think that Star Wars needs to be, it's something that works better as an event rather than an ongoing thing, because I want to love Star Wars again. And I just think that it needs to be seldom and it needs to be special. I think that goes for a lot of franchises, to be honest. And Princeton saying, finally, a Transformers Star Wars crossover that took Kathleen Kennedy. Well, I mean, she was integral to The Mandalorian with Filoni and Jon Favreau, for what it's worth. I've seen, again, like I didn't really care for her tenure at Disney, but she did have a good run as a producer. You have to give her credit where credit's due. I mean, it's kind of just a sad situation. I think that the time for her to step down is right, and hopefully somebody that's got passion for it and is in touch with the fans and what the fans want is going to take her spot. So let's get into some news. I kind of need to, like, as much as I've been covering TFCon, I kind of need to do like a bumper for TFCon, but we got some really good news for anybody going to TFCon LA. Now, again, my boy Deluxe is going to be there. I believe Captain Kyle's going to be there. My friend Treebot is going to be there. He's actually going to be hanging out with that toy guy. And we got another really big, prolific voice actor attending TFCon. I don't know that he's actually attended any TFCons in the past, but that's Jim Cummings. So a lot of people don't know this, but Jim was some voices in Transformers. He was Afterburner, he was Ripper Snapper in G1, and in Robots in the Skies, he came down as Clampdown and Thermidor. But Jim's best known for roles like Darkwing Duck and Winnie the Pooh. But still, the guy has an awesome podcast. I don't know if you've seen his podcast, but he sits down with a lot of voice actors, and they have really, really, really good conversations. I believe it's called Tuned In, and he's had a ton of people on there. He's also the voice of Tigger as well. But definitely one to look out for if you are at TFCon LA. Again, he's just a big storied voice actor. Also, Sumali Montano is going to be there. She was the voice of RC. So they're getting a lot of the Transformers Prime voice actors there, as well as DC Douglas. So he was Chase in Transformers Rescue Bots, but he's been a ton of prolific voices in video games, including Wesker in Resident Evil, and he was also Legion in Mass Effect 2, one of my favorite characters. Oh, Maz. Maz through hate we love. We've also got T-Man in here saying, I was watching for 8 months and didn't know I wasn't subscribed. Yeah, I didn't. I was in the same boat. I kept looking him up in searches, and I was like, oh, crap, I should subscribe to this. And welcome on in, TF Hustler. Good to see you. So, yeah, TFCon LA is looking pretty stacked. I think we are pretty much up to date on all of the celebrities. Now it's becoming kind of like a running thing though. I cover TFCon. I also have to like go into sad news. We had some sad news break this evening that Roberto Orsi, who was a producer and writer behind a lot of big franchises, Star Trek, Transformers. I know he worked on Alias, Hawaii Five-0. He passed away, unfortunately, due to kidney disease. I did not know he was sick, but he worked on as a writer for the first Transformers movie, the 2007 movie, when I say the first, as well as Revenge of the Fallen. And while I'm not the biggest fan of either of those movies, really, he did also do the story work for one of my favorite Transformers series. He worked on Transformers Prime, and he's got a long history of writing, going all the way back to the late 90s, working Hercules and Xena and Alias, as I mentioned, then working with Michael Bay. He did a lot of producing, So again, it's sad. I think 51 is way too young to go. And, even if, again, even if you feel a certain way about the J.J. Abrams Trek or the Bay Prime, the Bay Transformers again, the fact that he did work on stuff that people do love, as well as the fact that he is the reason we have Transformers Prime. One of the big reasons that we have Transformers Prime. You have to give him some credit. He also worked on Mission Impossible 3 as the writer. So a lot of people love that movie. So very, very sad, and just wishing his family the best, and just really don't know what to say other than that's way too young, and my sincerest condolences. So we're going to move into our official news for the evening. And if you saw the thumbnail, you probably know we're going to be talking about this. We're really doing a pulse check. And that is because the Leo Kaiser, as we mentioned in the last show on Thursday, it's fully funded. And right now it is at 13,550 backers. And no, I'm not backing this one. I've already explained why. I'm not going to beat a dead horse. But I am a little bit happy for the backers because now they are getting 7 figures as Death Cobra has been unlocked. So Death Cobra is one of the optional limbs, and he also forms a shoulder cannon for the combiner. And he turns into a helicopter. I mean, he's a neat looking design all around. It's kind of funny that for the third-party sets, they just finally got their Death Cobras. I believe that was the Legends one is finally getting it. So now all they need is 2,500 to hit that. They need 20 less than 2,500 to get the electromagnetic nunchucks, and then 18,000 to get that to get it up to the display base. So they're getting there. I'm sure this thing's going to fully fund. It's probably it's definitely the second fastest funded Transformer set so far. Hey, Boss Hog, good to see you, man. And again, I have my gripes with it, but I am happy for the people that want this. But I'm glad that it will fully fund. I can't stress enough. I dislike how Hasbro operates these, and I dislike the fact that they bake their stretch goal pricing into the upfront asking costs. That's not how crowdfunding should be. Crowdfunding should be like, the more people that get into this, the sweeter the pot gets. Not, hey, pay for everything up front, and if it works out, you'll get everything. I think that if they're going to charge things up front, they should just eliminate stretch goals. And that's all I'm saying, because I don't want to beat a dead horse on it. We've got other stuff to talk about, like reissues. This one took me by surprise because earlier in the week I was seeing rumors that Prowl was going to get reissued, and people were saying that it was going to be Siege Prowl, and I said that's impossible. Why would they reissue Siege Prowl? Siege Prowl was a mass release. I think most people that got him, that wanted him, got him back in the day, and he's not really like something that fills that void. I mean, I guess you could put him in with your Studio Series stuff, but thank you, Boss Hog. You could put him in with your Studio Series stuff if you wanted to, but the Earthrise one exists, and it's way more accurate to, a G1 style Prowl. This guy I just don't think that he really fit the bill. He has awkward feet and awkward chest because they kind of went for that. Well, they definitely went for a Cyberturnium mode. And then you have, I don't have any issue with Earthrise Trailbreaker getting reissued, but he kind of just was. Why not just do him as a Studio Series release, even though he didn't really show up in the 86 movie, but just do what they did with the 5-pack, where he actually had the painted windshield instead of the clear plastic. So, again, these are up for pre-order. You can get them on Entertainment Earth, TF Source, BBTS, Robot Kingdom, Chosen Prime, ages 3 and up, all those sites. They got them both. Again, if you missed out and you want them, I haven't seen either of these guys have high demand on the aftermarket either. So it's just a weird one for me. I don't know what the rhyme or reason for Hasbro doing this is. Again, I like reissues, but at the same time, I like reissues with purpose. I like ones that are kind of cutting into the secondary market and are making it easy for fans that missed out to get something they wanted. But these ones are just really just head scratchers, in my opinion. It would have made more sense for them to do Hoist and give Hoist more of a Toon deco. Kind of like I kind of think that they should just kind of pivot into doing a Studio Series 84 and just kind of do, very Toon accurate robots. I mean, what do you guys think? I know some people might say, well, Legacy does that, and there definitely would double dip on repaints, but I think it would be a slam dunk, and I think it's another opportunity for people to get figures they missed out on. And Mario saying, I really want Prowl to be in Studio Series 86 and as a new mold done proper. I would like to see a new mold for him as well. Again, I'm not a big fan of the feet, and I think that they could do better. I think that he eventually probably will get a proper 86 mold, because the only one they gave us for 86 was the dying one. And hey, Stunning Brave, good to see him, a friend. And we are getting a more exciting reissue with that Generation Select Trypticon. So this came from Weibo user Notrab, who's been getting a lot of figures early. So we get a good proper look at this reissue of Trypticon. And this is a reissue done right. I love this deco. I love the fact that there's no stickers. I love that you're getting Decepticon tampos on the shins, and that they got rid of most of the clear plastic. I like the clear plastic on the hips and the head and the crest, but this is way more in line with what I originally wanted for a Trypticon, and I'm looking forward to replacing my Trypticon with this one. So, yeah, this is just I'm sure we'll be seeing way more of this. I'm sure we'll be seeing, a lot of internet reviews coming far in advance. But yeah, this is just looking great as a Toon accurate Trypticon. It'd be nice if they redid Metroplex, and this user actually has an unstickered Metroplex. I guess either didn't bother or just knew they were going to peel off, because those stickers for the Combiner Wars trilogy Titans, they were not great. So yeah, I think this is looking good. So yeah, and even though Necro kind of looks a little bit plain, I'm cool with it. I actually don't mind that. There's some slight breakup. I think it looks way better just right there on Trypticon's chest. And I do appreciate they picked out the rims in silver. So, and T-Van brings up a good point. I can hear Brad Garrett's voice coming to that thing. Brad Garrett, like the brother from Everybody Loves Raymond, the Jimmy John spokesman, Brad Garrett, was the voice of Trypticon in G1. And that would be funny if they got him at TFCon LA. That would be actually pretty awesome if they got him at TFCon LA. And TF Hustler, yeah, I'm hearing rumors that Metroplex will get the same treatment. Now, I think that makes sense. Like, I don't want Hasbro to just churn out repaints, but at the same time, I want meaningful repaints, and I want for fans that want these characters to not have to pay $500, $600, $700 on the secondary market to just have that representation in their collection. Like, I think this is a smart move for Hasbro to just get these out. You get a good look at the ship mode for them as well as the base mode. Some smaller pictures here, but you get the gist. I think this looks just pretty good. I also like the fact that the Titan Master or Headmaster for Necro's picked out a bit better. Again, he's only a Headmaster because, well, where he came out in the trilogy. But yeah, this is looking pretty good. And Mario says, not like the one we're getting in Studio Series 86, Dying Proud, the 2-pack, including the Ironhide, was just the Earthrise with the excuse that he's cartoon accurate to turn to paint in the chest. Yeah. I mean, also, too, who really wanted just a Dying Prowl on their shelf? I think, the thing about Studio Series 86 is most people that are getting them aren't getting them because, they necessarily want the movies. They just want the best chug representation of these characters. And Stunning Brave saying, thinking to get this Triptychon, think he'd look good with the Cyan Culture Metroplex. Yeah, and that's a good looking Metroplex too. I kind of think they should remake Metroplex because he's this weird hybrid between Fall of Cybertron and G1. I think they should go back and do a proper Metroplex and a proper Fort Max. I know a lot of people would probably frown upon that because they don't want to rebuy them. But I mean, that was before they really started to commit to accuracy on these things. Next up, we get more of these oversized bear brick transformers. These are really weird. It looks like they're doing a bathing ape, and they're doing one that just looks like a regular bear. And again, these are the ones that are 48 centimeters. They're way oversized. These are coming in at a couple $100. Now, I'd only be interested in a bear brick prime in a smaller scale for as a little tiny desk bot. I have no interest in these, but interesting novelty items. They're available over on the Metacom sites. If anybody's interested, I don't think these have even gone up for pre-order yet, but hey, they exist. I'm sure there's somebody out there that wants these for the niche. I'm sure there's some Optimus Prime collector who's far more insane than I am who will be getting these. But yeah, these definitely, at the price of the scale, not my cup of tea. Now, we do get a good, proper look at the Adamus Machina Rodimus. So a user on Twitter, Jungle Nagoya, who I believe is in Japan, posted some pictures, and they've been mirrored over on TFW. So we're going to take a look at these. So again, this is a transforming version of the IDW Rodimus. And this is from the new, I guess it's just called Adamus Machina, and T-Spark is kind of like the umbrella now that all of the MPG is under. I'm so confused by what it all is. I know what MPG is, and then that's where Masterpiece is now residing, but I don't know like what makes what really makes the Adamus Machina stuff what it is, because it doesn't seem like there's any unified scale judging from the Predaking that's coming. But anyway, we get a good look at this and some comparisons, not the most comparisons. Watafa put out a 2-part review of this guy, and it was a little bit long in the tooth, so I'm just kind of waiting for somebody to do a bit more straightforward one and give me the comparisons I want. But yeah, I mean, this is a good looking figure. I'm curious to how much diecast is actually on this, and I'm also very curious about the articulation because it doesn't really look like there's much in the waist, if anything. Whereas Flames toys, the ones I've handled have been a bit fragile and cumbersome. They did have the articulation, so it's kind of odd if they're just kind of making these more or less transforming statues, and at that point I'm just going to stick with my MMC stuff. Very good looking vehicle mode, I'll give it that. I love the paint detail on this, and I think it cleans up pretty nice. Again, he's got a little visible head syndrome going on there. They left the bag on. I'm guessing that's probably how he comes packaged in vehicle mode. There he is next to a Coke bottle in vehicle mode, so about the size of a Coke bottle. That box art though, that really just gives me like model kit vibes. It really gives me like the Flame, and I guess if they're working with Flame toys, that's why. Same photographer and all, but it really looks like they're model kit boxes. And get a good look at the box there, and then the box versus the actual Flame Toys Rodimus Prime box. Much different size. Now, what's interesting though is he's just a hair smaller than the Flames toys. So that figure had a lot of box, but not much bigger. And this has the added benefit of transforming. Now, again, I'll be curious what the articulation comes down to, but I do think this is pretty cool for people that like those aesthetics. And I was saying it has a ball in the base of the waist. Okay. So I guess you could probably, it would be nice though if he could get a little bit of an ab crunch with that. Did they show off any ab crunch, or is it just a ball that kind of just does like a wiggle? But I mean, this, I'm not gonna lie, this does look nice. I mean, for me, the biggest barrier is just kind of the price and not knowing what I'm getting into. I mean, it's really gonna take like somebody like MGO or Jobby to kind of sell me on this one. Or T, if you're getting this one, I'll be curious what you think. I don't recall if you were getting this one or not, and I don't know that Deluxe is. They still, yeah, they did steal Deluxes. I mean, they just need Carmex, a Care Bear, and a roll of toilet paper, and they'll have stolen the Deluxe Baldwin scale test. And again, like I also wish that this was getting compared to like MP 44 or something that everybody has. I think it looks good, but you know, again, this is one where I'm definitely waiting on reviews. And when I had Deluxe on last week, you know, I said, you know, one of the things that's kind of irksome is that like this whole FOMO stuff. It's like, this is definitely a figure where I need to know if it's worth my money before I actually commit to it. And lastly, for official news, we get a look at a new figure from 3-0, the MDLX Sleep Mode Optimus Prime, because of course they were going to do this. You know, I love 3-0. They go, as my friend Nasmer loves to say, they go hard in the paint. Now, this is a good-looking Sleep Mode Prime. I don't necessarily know why he needs his axe. I mean, I guess they're going to give it to him anyway. The axe does kind of look neat in all black. I'm not going to lie. And I like the fact that they gave him like the cracked windshields. I wish they had given him like some, you know, some abdominal damage and had sculpted some damage in. But I like the fact they have like subtle tampo cracks all over him. This one just isn't for me. I feel like if I ever get a dead Optimus, it'll be MP44, and he better come with his deathbed. I mean, I already have the dying Optimus, but I just want somebody to do an MP44 in this deco with the deathbed and call it a day. I mean, this is cool here that you can do that, but again, you have to take the whole chest off to even reveal the Matrix Chamber. So, you know, I'm sure, again, going back to the Bear Bricks, I'm sure there is an Optimus Prime collector more insane than I who is probably chomping at the bit to get this, and I know Deluxe will be getting it. He's a junkie for the 3-0 figures, but for me, it's going to be a pass. The only ones I have Nemesis Prime, because I do collect Nemesis Primes, and I have the regular old Optimus Prime. Never found the need to get the Toon Deco one. I will get a 3-0 Ultra Magnus when they do him with the armor. I'm sorry, I wish that they had just gone all out and done like kind of an add-on kit for the 3-0 Ultra Magnus, so you could just make him armored up or make him just a white Optimus Prime. I don't want just the white Optimus Prime on my shelf. I did get the comic Megatron just because I really love that deco. I love that deco so much, and also, you know, you can argue that he is. Oh shoot, what was his name? The Megatron had the body double. What was his name? I'm blanking on that. It was oh Lord. They had one in Machine Wars, but Megatron had a body double. So you could work that into your fiction. I mean, you could say the same with a white Optimus Prime, but yeah, for me, I just try to keep it one to character, unless it's like you get into your like Red Alerts or your Seekers or your Datsuns. Those ones I'm okay with. Soundwave and Sound Blaster and Blaster, and you know that. Those are where I make my exceptions, but I try not to get too in the weeds with my unnecessary repaints because I only have so much space. And yes, I did see that MP09 comparison, and I'm also kind of afraid to handle my MP09. He's kind of like, he's in the, not that I'm afraid of him falling apart, but he's like in the back, and it took so long to get him holding the Matrix, especially after I dusted this past January. I was like, oh, I hate posing that one. Stunning Brave says, I'm one of a kind, and I know several people that they just like to have one version of the mold and they're done. I think that toy guy's that way too. I've seen like several videos where he's like, I just want to own one of the mold. In fact, a good friend of mine was telling me the other day that for his like combiner teams, he just likes to get his favorite combiner and have that on the shelf. So, he's like, yeah, because I was like telling him, I was like, hey, you really should get the MMC hotspot. And he's like, no, I just really want first aid. First aid's my favorite. And I was like, And he says, really surprised they ever did G2 colors for MP36. That would be awkward, wouldn't it? Like if they did like a neon green with like purple camo. I mean, that might look neat. I really want Fans Hobby to go in and make a proper G2 Megatron. I thought they said they were. I thought we saw some teases, but like nothing has really come to fruition for that. So, in fact, let me see if that was even prototyped, because I thought it was prototyped at some point. Like they teased it. Yeah, they did tease it. So this was oh man, and they teased this so long ago. In fact, I should message Hobby Man and say like, hey, what happened to this? Because they teased this back June 19th, 2017. That was how long ago they teased it. So, and that was all we ever got out of it. Let's check the thread here, but yeah. Were there any last updates on this? Yeah, because they had announced MB09, MB10, and then they went right into God Bomber. I know God Bomber's MB11. Yeah, I'd be curious, and that could be a case like maybe they went back to the drawing board, all Fans Toys style, because it's really funny to think that the Fans Toys Soundwave, I believe, was announced before the original MP Soundwave, and I think that's why back then I think Fans Toys kind of knew that they were filling holes in collections, and I think they also might have been a little concerned of well, Takara Tomi's making one, we better we better watch out. But yeah, that was like that Fans Toys Soundwave was shown off like years and years back, and then they went back to the drawing board. And yeah, I've actually found a picture of the old prototype of it before they did Acoustic Wave. It's just interesting. I would love to see more historian videos on like the early days of third party, because like there's so many times I'm like going back to like old reviews. Like, yeah, this thing was like super G1 toy accurate. Like it even had like the sliding hands and everything, and just far more blocky. And that, I mean, of course, obviously that's Acoustic Wave with all the toy details on. But yeah, just third party history is so interesting. It's just also funny to think back, like Fans Toys started out making their first product was a trailer for MPO1. So let's look at what we got for third party this evening. And of course, let's go over here, because I was on the Chosen Prime page and they now have this up on the TFCon LA page. So the Chosen Prime posted this on Facebook, and this is the first exclusive reveal. So Obsidian Commander was like the kind of the stealth release, and now we have Obsidian Blade. And we head over to TFW. I know they've got some more pictures here. But yeah, this is so they recently released. I guess we're gonna have to go over to. I guess this is the only picture they have up on there right now. So we'll go back. Go back to. But yeah, this was their Wind Saber done up in black. Now, I probably will be passing on this. I love the fact that they did this. I love the fact that it's cohesive. And this figure does look great in black, but I still need to get him in red. And I also need their Naval Commander as well. But, again, I mostly got their Obsidian Commander because it's Grand Scourge and I collect Nemesis Primes, but this one looks fantastic. But again, like I'm probably going to be passing on. He's also going to be a little steep in price at $165 at the booth. So I'm sure my buddy Deluxe will be getting him. And like I said, I do like this black, gold, and teal. And, you know, in person, the gold, that white gold, really pops. But, yeah, I just don't know. And Sunny Brave writes and says, I really want to see X-Transbot show off their defense or TFCon next month. I don't know that they'll show it off there. I think if they show it off, it will probably be at BotCon. And I say that because if you go over to agabus.com, Agabus, Hanny has a really good relationship with X-Transbots. And they've been doing exclusives for Agabus. So, you know, when it comes to TFCon, I think the relationships have really gone from being all the third-party players, with the exception of Fans Toys. Like Fans Toys has never done anything for any of the American or Canadian conventions. But when BotCon kicked off, 5.2 Toys and X-Transbots started doing them for Agabus. So Spectre General is going to be like the big one there, which is the, you know, kind of the Shattered Glass or Diaclone Ultra Magnus. And of course, MMC has the relationship they have with TFCon. So you got MMC and you have Fans Hobby and Make Toys. Granted, Make Toys is just doing the Seekers at this point. I doubt they're ever going to get that highbrow out. But, you know, they did their Shattered Glass Wreck-Gar here, which I thought looked pretty cool. I did see this at TFCon. But, you know, I think BotCon's going to be where we see it. Now, they might have a slide for it, but I really don't think that they're going to have anything on display. I think we'll see, if anything, we'll see probably a lot of Fans Hobby and a lot of stuff from MMC and maybe a few new companies peppered in. I saw this over on TM Reviews Facebook page. If you don't follow him, give him a follow. And this is the Robot Toys RTD01 Lord Ventagon. And this is the only picture we have to go off of. And this is a masterpiece scaled Scorponok. Now, we looked at the prototype of this late last year, but this figure is looking pretty much complete, and it looks very in keeping with the Takara Tomy aesthetics. So, you know, I only have one third-party Season 1 Beast Wars figure, and this guy's probably going to be my number 2. Again, I'm guessing he's probably not going to be the highest in price because he's a smaller figure and not very complex in the grand scheme of things, especially if they're doing like a similar transformation of what he had in Kingdom. But this is coming along really nice. Really curious to see what the price ends up being on this. And I'm hoping it doesn't have any QC issues. It looks like it shouldn't. It looks like a very basic design. I was very happy with the Metagate offering. I wish Metagate would go back and do like a Waspinator or an Air Razor, because yet again, it's taken about 10 years going from Primal to Rat Trap, you know, and like I said, we still need, for Season 1, we still need Air Razor. We still need, I mean, officially, we still need a lot more, but to fill in the gaps, we still need a Waspinator. We need an Air Razor. We need an Inferno. We're getting a Scorponok now. So, progress, but I really just want to complete my Beast Wars Season 1 shelves. And yeah, that kind of catches us up for this evening. Since I did a later show on Thursday, you know, really kind of covered our bases there. But as I mentioned, Deluxe did a really good show with Captain Kyle. Check out Deluxe. Check out Toy Spotlight, not Toy Galaxy. Actually, you know what? No, I do have one more thing to share. This also comes from TM Reviews. This was This was one I had on the docket, but forgot. Mod Toys. I love this figure. I actually bought it in the toy and the tuned Echo, because again, roller never transformed in G1. I know they did an IDW flavor in the Hunter Green, but now we are getting a Nemesis roller, or as he's known as Ruler. And I love this figure because it was $35, and it's just a joy to transform. It's made really well, and it's really posable. So I will probably get this to go with my with one of my Nemesis primes. I'm sure they'll do a shattered glass one as well, but yeah, this guy is on the horizon. I want to see them do more. I know they did a replacement head for Fort Max that came with a gun, and I never picked that up. I kind of wish I did. I know TF Source had it on sale last year. But again, even then, it's not that expensive. I was kind of like waiting for it to hit like $20 because I don't really need a replacement head for my Fort Max, but I just kind of wanted it for the gun because I need to arm up my Fort Max. So he's just standing there like I don't know what to do with my hands. But yeah, this is really cool, and I'm hopeful that mod fans will have some new stuff coming down the pipeline in 2025. So yeah, as I was mentioning, we had Deluxe on last week, and he did that great show with Captain Kyle. It was a fun one to watch. So if you haven't checked that out, go check that out over on his channel, Deluxe Baldwin and Toy Spotlight. Well, yeah, as I mentioned, that's going to be a shorter It's going to be a shorter episode tonight, and I'll be doing some editing. Hopefully, I'll be able to get that video with Mazza out next week, and then I'll be doing some stuff here. I'll be doing a reaction video, and then I've also got kind of like some like a rambling video planned out. So again, if you haven't already, if you think I've earned it, hit that subscribe button and ring that notification bell, because again, I don't have a steady upload schedule on here other than the Tuesday show, so you can stay in the loop for anything coming down the pipe. Let's catch up with chat real quick. And Effortless Random said, currently my fans' toys are sharing shelf space with the Jada Street Fighter and Mega Man. Hey, there are worse things to share a shelf space with, and that's like probably like pure 80s, 90s bliss going on right there. And Stunning Brave saying that Metagate Bludgeon is pretty nice, works fairly well with the G1 stuff, surprisingly considering it's a repaint of Movie Drift. Yeah, I saw that, and that one has gotten really cheap. I've been tempted a couple times. I ended up getting the KO version of the Drift, the one that's like more MPM scaled. But yeah, I don't know. It's not as high quality as Metagate stuff. And yes, I do agree. Fort Max hands can be his guns. He also does have the shin guns, but I want him to have his proper blaster at some point. But anyway, that's going to wrap up for tonight's episode. Thanks to everybody that hopped in and hung out with me tonight. It's always a blast chatting with you all throughout the course of the show. And I wouldn't be able to do this show without each and every one of you who tunes in on a weekly basis. And thank you very much. And again, if you haven't already, hit that like button because it helps me out in the algorithm. And if you're watching me on the replay squad, leave a comment. Let me know if you've picked up anything cool this week. If you're going to TFCon LA, if there's anything on the horizon you're excited about. And I'm sure we'll have a lot more to talk about next week, because if we've got one exclusive, chances are the others are going to be rolling out. So I'm really excited to see what MMC has to reveal. So anyway, that's going to do it for tonight. I hope all of you have a great evening and a great week ahead, and I will catch you all on the next one. 0 out.